Greetings superior beings, greetings supreme being. Welcome on Try Something.Vegetarian. We are all the human race, our common enemy is death. This is the broadcast sending 10,000 troops to Iran. After declaring Iranian army a terrorist group, through insanity World War III, the official Iranian army, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, declared a terrorist group by Trump. So first I want to read an intro and then I'm going to read the other articles. Trump designates elite Iranian military force as a terrorist organization. That was April 8, 2019, CNN. And this is the article I want to read now. APnews.com, US officials plan may send up to 10,000 troops to Mideast. So lots of people are talking about what happened in Iraq, the depleted uranium usage, spreading of the use of depleted uranium is a war crime in reality. And they pretended that Iraq had a weapon of mass destruction like they are trying to do with Iran. And it's clear that they cannot prove, they don't have any shred of evidence that proves that Iran has even one nuclear weapon. And of course, Israel and the US have nuclear weapons. But more about that in my previous broadcast. Also, let's first read the intro.
Diversity for all countries but Israel, where 5G is produced but not used. Put it in airplane mode or keep it away from you. Selfie stick, when doing live broadcasts. Destroy 5G. How many nukes would reach their targets in the event of a thermonuclear world war? The US military has 4 primary means of shooting down incoming missiles, but even together, they can't promise to stop everything. But with an 81% success rate across all of the systems combined, the truth is we simply don't know if this multi-billion-dollar network would have worked. Defension.com. In the Second Gulf War of 1991, the defense system was able to shoot down numerous Soviet-style Scud rockets, which the army of dictator Saddam Hussein fired against Saudi Arabia and Israel. However, there was a large number of missiles that still made it through. Reports about the success quota are differing greatly and range from well under 40% to more than 80% of intercepted missiles. Scud missiles are considered short-range ballistic missiles with a range of 500 to 1,000 kilometers. DW.com. DARVO is an acronym used to describe a common strategy of abusers: deny the abuse, then attack the victim for attempting to make them accountable for their offense, thereby reversing victim and offender. This may involve gaslighting and victim blaming. Some therapists see DARVO as a specific form of gaslighting. Wiki, denial. A defense mechanism is an unconscious psychological mechanism that reduces anxiety arising from unacceptable or potentially harmful stimuli. Defense mechanisms Level 1. Pathological delusional projection, denial, distortion, extreme projection, splitting. Level 2, immature acting out, fantasy, idealization, passive aggression, projection, projective identification, somatization. Level 3, neurotic displacement, dissociation, hypochondriasis, isolation, rationalization, reaction, formation, regression, repression, undoing. Level 4, mature altruism, anticipation, humor, identification, intellectualization, introjection, sublimation, suppression. Other mechanisms: compartmentalization, defensive pessimism, exaggeration, minimization, postponement of effect. See also narcissistic defenses, censorship, psychoanalysis. Wiki/defense_mechanisms. The shadow government, cryptocracy, secret government, or invisible government, is a family of conspiracy theories based on the notion that real and actual political power resides not with publicly elected representatives but with private individuals who are exercising power behind the scenes, beyond the scrutiny of democratic.
It is a fact that secret societies have infiltrated governments around the world. The Jesuits, Freemasons, and the Jesuits were banned from 83 countries, cities, and city provinces. You can read it all online. So there must be an investigation into these secret societies. Kennedy also spoke about. So how is the government going to arrange that?
Institutions. Wiki/shadow_government_conspiracy. Continuity of government. COG. Israel. Continuity of society is not equals shadow gov Israel. Jesuits and Masons, so I have my doubts about the existence of any shadow gov. I can look into it, Mr. Messy Messiah, tralala, dod. Basically my policy of truth is, only the truth is good enough for me. People have a right to lie to a certain extent, but it can make them accomplices to crimes such as murder. Trump to open Middle East peace drive with economic incentives. NewYorkTimes.com. Watch, Trump Kushner peace plan only good for Israel? Two-state solution World War III? On YouTube, the Nazans Medial. In the quadrillion zillion molecules region, cuckoo date 10. Cold War fact, Russia planned to attack NATO with hundreds of nuclear weapons. This is a plan for the end of the world, dated 1970. Kapich 2 months ago. Another Cold War fact, the first plan to destroy USSR by nuclear bombing was made in Great Britain and then improved in USA at the very end of WW2 at the time of U.S. Soviet alliance. That plan was named Operation Unthinkable. It happened before Cold War even started. Talmud Dude writes, you can call me Talmud Dude, so I'm not Talmud Dude it, that's clear. Consecrated, discreted, segregated, obey, the way. Lol, could the erogenous zones have anything to do with the no-go zones? Now go, matcha tea, the green pill, it's so logical, please. How can Owen Benjamin, after seeing the videos of depleted uranium children, claim that nuclear contamination isn't real and that it only kills cells, it doesn't mutate them? Number 513 The Big Bad Nuclear Scam. Owen Benjamin YouTube channel, Louis Farrakhan, Alex Jones and other dangerous voices banned by Facebook and Instagram. Other people banned on Thursday included Paul Nehlin, an anti-Semite who unsuccessfully ran for Congress in 2016 and 2018, and fringe right-wing media personalities Laurel Loomer, Milo Yiannopoulos and Paul Joseph Watson. We've always banned individuals or organizations that promote or engage in violence and hate, regardless of ideology, a Facebook spokesperson said in a statement provided to CNN Business Edition.cnn.com. It is arguable that a suspect who possesses information that could lead to the prevention of a terrorist attack is a ROTEV, and therefore the community has the responsibility to use whatever means are at its disposal to extract that information. A ROTEV in traditional Jewish law is one who is pursuing another to murder him or her. RAC.org. Hence Abu Ghraib directed energy weapon torture. Everyone without a Tesla plasma shield is a victim. Ridiculing the truth will not save them. Doing what the voices tell them will get them annihilated even faster. The conspiracy to reduce the global population is a conspiracy fact clear from the book quotes and $1 Million Georgia Guidestones, not a conspiracy theory. So I don't condone war, they do. Make no mistake about it, they are murdering people, torturing people and funding terrorists. The US and Israeli governments should take a good look at themselves first before judging others. And have a look at the depleted uranium children they have created as well. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump. If Iran wants to fight, that will be the official end of Iran. Never threaten the United States again. PM of Israel at Israeli PM. From here I am going to a meeting with 60 foreign ministers and envoys of countries from around the world against Iran. 11:08-13. February 2019. RT. Almost two-thirds of Americans oppose preemptive U.S. strike on Iran. Fresh poll finds a sizable majority of U.S. citizens oppose the idea of preemptive strikes on Iran, and massively disapprove of Trump's policy towards the Islamic Republic, a survey has revealed as tensions continue to flare in the Gulf. Some 60% of Americans believe that the U.S. should not attack Iranian armed forces first, while a measly 12% supported carrying out a preemptive attack, according to a Tuesday poll by Reuters, Ipsos. That's despite 53% of American adults referring to Iran as a serious or imminent threat. That figure, overlooked by many mainstream media outlets, was almost as large as the number of American adults, 1%, who believe their country is set to go to war against Iran in the next few years. Why we go to war? So, where is the knob on this global thermostat? Is Melania Trump a Russian spy? YouTube. U.S. officials plan may send up to 10,000 troops to MediaStopNews.com. For declaring Iran's army, the IRGC, a terrorist organization equating them to ISIS and then sending 10,000 troops to Iran? Wouldn't that be true insanity and sure to end in World War III? Unprecedented. Trump designates elite Iranian military force as a terrorist organization. April 8, 2019 edition. CNN.com. Iranian commander who vowed to destroy Israel has been named new leader of IRGC. Ashar al-Assad. Appointment of General Hossein Salami as head of the elite IRGC comes weeks after it was dubbed a terrorist group by U.S. Al Jazeera.com. April 22, 2019. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran include the Army, Artesh, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, Sepah, and the Law Enforcement Force, Nizami and Jamhuri Islami Iran, Police, wiki/law_enforcement_force_the_Islamic_Republic_of_Iran.
So here we see the original tweet on the Wayback Machine. That's sketchedpages.com to find also tweets that have changed. Basically, if you want to see what they looked like when they were originally posted, you can use sketchedpages.com. So this remark of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is now changed. If you check this remark, I read somewhere. So this is how it looked on 13th of February 2019 from here. I'm going to a meeting with 60 foreign ministers and envoys of countries from around the world against Iran. So, and there was the other thing on Twitter of Trump that reminded me that it's a similar social media type thing, basically. If Iran wants to fight, that will be the official end of Iran, never threaten the United States again. So that's 19th of May 2019 on his official Twitter. Okay. So then we can read the article now. So how are these terrorists supposed to respond when their country is invaded by a president that claims he wants to take their oil? He said he will take their oil. A quick sample, but I have to rush because dinner is coming up.
Take back the oil. Once you go over and take back that oil, they have nothing. How do you take it? Right. You have to go in. You have to go in. Well, you bomb the hell out of them, and then you encircle it, and then you go in, and you let Mobil go in, and you let our great oil companies go in. Once you take that oil, they have nothing left.
Click to copy ups://upnews.com/A7709982557C9121OB2FBBF related to U.S. officials, plan may send up to 10,000 troops to Mideast.
I haven't read it yet, so let's read it first.
Washington, AP, the Pentagon on Thursday will present plans to the White House to send up to 10,000 more troops to the Middle East, in a move to beef up defenses against potential Iranian threats, U.S. officials said Wednesday. The officials said no final decision has been made yet, and it's not clear if the White House would approve sending all or just some of the requested forces. Officials said the move is not in response to any new threat from Iran, but is aimed at reinforcing security in the region. They said the troops would be defensive forces, and the discussions include additional Patriot missile batteries, more ships and increased efforts to monitor Iran. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity because the plans have not been formally announced. Thursday morning's meeting comes as tensions with Iran continue to simmer, and it wasn't.
So I would advise to first have an agreement also with the president of Iran, Rouhani, before taking any actions that could lead to an escalation. And to dead American soldiers like we saw in Iraq. And these wars in the Middle East have cost $4.6 trillion thus far, costofwar.com.
Clear if a decision would be made during the session. Any move to deploy more forces to the Middle East would signal.
Some would say they are illegal wars without the approval from Congress. I can look into that for the specific wars. But it's clear they admit now that Iraq didn't have any weapon of mass destruction like Netanyahu and Bush claimed at the time.
A shift for President Donald Trump, who has repeatedly emphasized the need to reduce America's troop presence in the region. U.S. officials have provided few details about possible Iranian threats, but indicated they initially involved missiles loaded onto small.
So that was their pretense to go to war with Iraq, and now a million dead Iraqis later, they are trying to use the same pretense, preventing Iran from building a nuclear weapon, which cannot pose any threat with all the missile shields. And besides the Iron Dome, they also have the Dr. Bernard Easton HARP patent. I'm just saying, it's not that big a threat, and a world war is a big threat. Russia is an ally of Iran, of course. So also an agreement with Putin. So agreements between Putin, Rouhani and Trump are vital to prevent a third world war, which some people may be out to create. These leaders may all be controlled by the same Jesuits in control of the intelligence agencies, which are all Masonic according to the Citizens Action Network graphic.
Iranian boats. This week officials said the missiles have been taken off the boats near Iran's shore, but other maritime threats continue. Sending more troops could also raise questions on Capitol Hill, during back-to-back closed briefings for the House and Senate on Tuesday.
So let somebody disprove that to me with evidence. Disprove to me that all intelligence agencies are Masonic and controlled by the Jesuits.
Defense leaders told congressional officials the U.S. doesn't want to go to war with Iran and wants to de-escalate the situation. Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told lawmakers the U.S. is seeking to deter, not provoke, Iran, even while accusing Tehran of threatening U.S. interests in the Mideast. Shanahan told reporters, "Our biggest focus at this point is to prevent Iranian miscalculation." Many in Congress are skeptical of the administration's approach to Iran, questioning whether it is responding to significant new Iranian threats or escalating a situation that could lead to war. CNN first reported that the Pentagon will brief the White House on a plan that could send thousands of additional U.S. troops to the Middle East. Air Force call. Patrick Ryder, spokesman for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, declined to comment, saying, "As a matter of long-standing policy, we are not going to discuss or speculate on potential or alleged future operations or plans." In early May, the U.S. accelerated the deployment of an aircraft carrier strike group to the Mideast and sent 4 B-52 bomber aircraft to the region. The Pentagon also decided to move a Patriot air defense missile battery to an undisclosed country in the area. The Trump administration has evacuated non-essential personnel from Iraq, amid unspecified threats the administration said are linked to Iranian-backed militias in the country. On Sunday, a rocket was fired into Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone, landing less than a mile from the sprawling U.S. Embassy. There were no injuries and no group claimed responsibility, but the rocket was believed to have been fired from East Baghdad, which is home to Iran-backed Shiite militias. Some Democrats say Trump is responsible for drawing Iran's ire. Last year he abruptly pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, negotiated during the Obama administration to prevent Iran from nuclear weapons production, without crafting a coherent strategy for how to combat other Iranian behavior like supporting extremist organizations. He also has reimposed punishing sanctions that have crippled Tehran's economy. and designated Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps as a foreign terrorist organization in April. "I have yet to see any exhibited strategy," said Democratic Rep. Abigail Spanberger of Virginia, a former CIA officer. She said she finds many of the administration's recent statements on Iran to be deeply troubling. Trending on App News, North Carolina woman sues Project Veritas, founder for libel. Saudis say they will defend themselves, as Trump warns Iran. The latest, Saudi Arabia won't hesitate to defend itself by Taboola in Iran, a plunging economy. Trump's fears of U.S. confrontation. Tehran, Iran, App, across Iran's capital, the talk always seems to come back to how things may get worse. Battered by U.S. sanctions and its depreciating real currency, Iran's 80 million, 5 days ago analysis, Iran Supreme Leader comments signal strategy shift. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, App, for years, Iran's Supreme Leader only criticized the West over Tehran's nuclear deal with world powers. Now, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is publicly chastising the 22 hours ago North Korea, U.S. should consider consequences of ship seizure. United Nations, App, North Korea's UN ambassador said Tuesday the Trump administration should consider the possible consequences that the recent U.S. seizure of a North Korean cargo ship could. Now, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is publicly chastising the country's elected president and his foreign minister as the accord unravels amid heightened tensions with the U.S.
apnews.com.
By naming President Hassan Rouhani and Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif as failing to implement his orders over the deal, Khamenei is signaling a hardline tilt in how the Islamic Republic will react going forward. That will include how Iran handles the ongoing maximalist pressure campaign of President Donald Trump, who has piled on new sanctions and dispatched an aircraft carrier strike group and B-52 bombers to the region over still unspecified threats the White House perceives to be coming from Tehran. Now U.S. officials say the Pentagon will present a plan to the White House on Thursday calling for sending as many as an additional 10,000 troops to the Middle East over Iran. Click to copy upnews.com/e4063bdff. Officials say Iran quadruples production of enriched uranium by Nasser Karimi and John Gambrell. May 21, 2019. Tehran, Iran, App. Iran quadrupled its uranium enrichment production capacity amid tensions with the U.S. over Tehran's atomic program, nuclear officials said Monday, just after President Donald Trump and Iran's foreign minister traded threats and taunts on Twitter. Iranian officials made a point to stress that the uranium would be enriched only to the 3.67% limit set under the 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, making it usable for a power plant but far below what's needed for an atomic weapon. But by increasing production, Iran soon will exceed the stockpile limitations set by the accord. Tehran has set a July 7 deadline for Europe to set new terms for the deal, or it will enrich closer to weapons-grade levels in a Middle East already on edge. The Trump administration has deployed bombers and an aircraft carrier to the region over still unspecified threats from Iran. Already this month, officials in the United Arab Emirates allege that 4 royal tankers were sabotaged. Yemeni rebels allied with Iran launched a drone attack on an oil pipeline in Saudi Arabia, and U.S. diplomats relayed a warning that commercial airlines could be misidentified by Iran and attacked, something dismissed by Tehran. A rocket landed Sunday near the U.S. Embassy in the Green Zone of Iraq's capital of Baghdad, days after non-essential U.S. staff were ordered to evacuate from diplomatic posts in the country. No one was reported injured. Iraqi military spokesman Brit. Trump approves additional deployment to Mideast to counter Iran. CNN 3 hours ago. Washington, CNN, President Donald Trump is sending an additional 1,500 U.S. troops to the Middle East as part of a mostly protective effort to U.S. to deploy 1,500 forces to Middle East to counter Iran. U.S. News and World Report 1 hour ago. Ohio National Guard soldiers heading to Middle East as Trump, Fox8.com 1 hour ago. View all. Trump to send 1,500 troops to Middle East to counter Iran. The Hill 1 hour ago. Trump to send 1,500 troops to Middle East to counter Iran. Protection for existing troops in the area amid heightened tensions with Tehran. Pentagon will send 1,500 troops, along with drones and fighter jets to CNBC 1 hour ago. Amid Iran tensions, Trump announces deployment of 1,500 troops to In-depth. Haaretz 2 hours ago. Trump orders 1,500 troops to Middle East. Opinion. CBS News 1 hour ago. Trump confirms plans to send 1,500 troops to Middle East amid Iran. Live. Updating The Guardian 1 hour ago. Trump wants to leave the Middle East. He's not getting his wish. In-depth. The Atlantic 29 minutes ago.
So my mic is working now. The mute button doesn't always work. Well, basically I selected this other picture. Okay. So, how many people know what these troops are gonna do there, supposedly? Isn't that considered an invasion by Iran? And then we have these annexations the 28 EU member states don't agree with. And the shifting of the capital to Jerusalem, that was Tel Aviv. And that third temple coin that I've shown in my previous broadcast, I'm cleaning up my desk, dinner is coming. So many people say Trump claims that he doesn't want to go to war with Iran, but actions speak louder than words. Two wrongs don't make a right. What is it gonna cost and what's the use? And then there are the cancer oil transports. I'd have to verify the status on that as well, also on blacklisting the US Army. I read something about that as well. It's in one of my broadcasts also. And I advise you all to download your broadcasts with a backup. And anything you want to store safely has to be backed up on a CD-ROM, because it would be erased by the EMP, the electromagnetic pulse, which can also happen during a solar storm, which is definitely going to happen according to NASA Masons. And I think that's true, that you can see it happened in the past, so it will happen again. So be prepared, building ground resistors so that the pumps of your tap water supply cannot be affected by the solar storm, so that you have water when that occurs. The electrical pumps are not knocked out by a sun. I think you cannot drink the cancer chemtrail rain, and we've seen thousands of dead birds, so the ones that keep on living might be a new breed. They are resistant, birds resistant against all known viruses, molds and fungi. With an enhanced immune system. There's an awesome eagle cam on YouTube. Let's see if that's still available. Big Bear Bald Eagle Nest Cam. That's the cool one. And this is live. We hear a waterfall in the background, beautiful scenery, two little eagles. We hear them screech once in a while. And you can also see that the mother brought some food. Awesome. $2,092 watching now. Big Bear Bald Eagle Nest Cam on the FND Sharp channel. 39,000 likes. So that's awesome. And my father is arriving with dinner now. So please like, subscribe, share this important video on your timeline of here. And thank you all for watching. Tune in next time on Try Something.Vegetarian.